you have to be real with yourself on a mental level. And I say that because a lot of times in life we put ourselves in situations to where it's not our fault when something happens. We blame other people, we blame other things. But the start of wisdom is to be able to understand what's going on in you. I had a psychology class today and a philosophy class today, but I had a psychology class today and they said every single person on this planet has had a situation where they put themselves before others and then blamed what happened to themselves on others. Intrinsically, we don't want to admit that we have faults and that we have problems because that makes us feel less of a person. It makes us feel lesser of a human. And I feel that, right? You don't want to feel like you're bad. You don't want to feel like you're down. So your mind says, you know what? We're going to blame this on somebody else and not me. But let me talk to y'all. There's a great book in the Bible called Proverbs. And in Proverbs, there's a description of a fool and there's a description of a wise man. We're going to start with the fool because I'm a fool and a lot of us are fools as well. The fool is a person who doesn't want to take correction, who is quick to anger, who is quick to say somebody's lying, who is quick to do things that aren't beneficial to them. For example, if you tell somebody, hey, you're getting cheated on, let's not do that, the fool is going to say, no, I'm not. You don't know what you're talking about. Get out of my face. That's what the fool is going to say. Now, when I said I'm like the fool, I meant I'm in the middle, right? I still am a work in progress. I'm only 18. I'm a work in progress of what I can be, right? The wise man, on the other hand, says, you know what? I'm going to listen to what people say. I'm going to be slow to speak. I'm going to be having my ears open and listening to everything people say. I'm going to take things in. I'm going to be okay with recognizing my eternal person, my spirit, my morals. I'm going to be okay with sitting down with myself and saying, who am I at my core? And if you're able to do that, you're able to change your life. And I say that because there's a quote that says ignorance is bliss. And yes, it's bliss, but not all bliss is good bliss. Just like not all money is good money. Not all bliss is good bliss. If you sit in ignorance and you sit in the idea that you don't know yourself fully, you're never going to be able to get to your best self because you don't know what you need to work on, right? That's why I love isolation so much. And that's why I believe everybody has an isolation season. And in that season, you need to take it very seriously. Because that's when you and God are sitting together and he's informing you about the things that you don't know about yourself, right? For me, and I don't want to make this about me, but for me, when I was younger, I had an isolation season between high school. I had mine from 9th grade to 12th grade. I learned so much about myself during that time period that I wouldn't have known if I didn't decide to take a look in the inner me, right? Kimbo Slice said, I always had an enemy, and then I realized the enemy was the inner me. That's life for most people, but they don't realize it. The enemy that you're facing sometimes is you, right? Let's get real. I had a lustful problem. I had a lust addiction, and I always blamed it on the devil's trying to get me. No, the enemy was me. I blamed it on these women are always wearing these skimpy clothes. No. The problem was me. The problem was that I couldn't contain myself. Even if a woman is wearing something crazy, I'm supposed to have enough self-control to be like, you know what? I'm cool. That was the problem with me. I wasn't able to accept that it was my fault. I blamed it on everybody else except me. But it took God and it took an isolation season for me to say, you know what? That's on me. That's not their fault. I can't control what they do, but I can control what Josh do. What does Josh say? Josh says, old Josh would have been like, oh God, hold on, nah, sure to come back here. New Josh is like, all right, cool. She's smooth, that's smooth. Okay. Then keep it pushing, right? You have to be okay with allowing yourself to know that you're not perfect, right? You're not meant to be perfect. Ego mixed with irrational thinking leads to failure. And I say that because with an ego and irrational thinking, you will never understand what you need to work on. You will always think you're perfect when you're not. I'm reading a book in my philosophy class called Oedipus. Oedipus is a king that accidentally kills his dad and then marries his mom, and then all of this on accident. And then a blind man comes to him and says, hey, you're the person who killed your dad, and that's why your city is under attack. Oedipus doesn't believe it. He doesn't want to because he has an ego and he has an irrational mindset, right? Who's another person I could use? I don't know. Anyway, you can't have an irrational mindset and want to be better. You have to be able to sit down and understand who you are as a person, understand how you act, how you interact with other people, and just do that, right? It's very hard for a person to say, you know what, I'm the problem. And that's the problem, right? For me, especially, it's hard for me to say, okay, I'm the one who's wrong. But once I started learning that and once I started doing that, life got a lot better for me. And obviously, I'm not where I want to be. Obviously, like, what's the word for it? Materialistically, I still live with my parents. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I still live with my parents. I'm gonna be out in 3 months, but I still live with my parents, right? I still work a 9 to 5, right? I still do these things, and I'm not where I want to be at materialistically, but spiritually, won't he do it? I'm the best I've ever been. And I say that because I've realized that the things that were messing me up was me, right? I told you I was lustful, I was lying, I was manipulative, all of those things I used to blame on the devil, but it was me. And I think a lot of times when it comes to sin in general, yes, the devil will tempt you, but you have enough power from God to not sin. Well, let me phrase that, to not do a certain sin. Every day we sin regardless, right? But you can weed out the sins that you don't want to do, right? Gluttony. I don't eat a lot. I don't eat too much to overfill myself. And gluttony isn't just with food. Gluttony can be with gluttony and lust go hand in hand, right? So what's another thing? Pride. I don't want to allow myself to get so high-minded that I take the blessings that God have gave me and said they're mine. I don't want to do that. I don't do that. Yeah, everything that we have can be associated when it comes to how we look at ourselves and how we view our life, right? Everything is mental. That's the way I looked at life. Everything is mental. A lot of things you could say physical. Obviously, like working out is physical, but the ability to work out for a longer period of time, mental. The ability to push more weight, mental. Your body's gonna quit on you before your mind does. Let me phrase that. Your mind's gonna quit on you. Nope, I was right the first time. My fault. But it's like you just gotta chill and understand who you are. It took me a long time to realize this, and it's not gonna be easy. Time, patience takes time, and you have to be patient in order to learn yourself over time. And time will decay patience. If you don't understand what I'm saying, I'm gonna say it again. Patience, the idea of it, takes time. Time and the ability to understand yourself takes patience. The idea of patience kills time, and the idea of time kills patience. It's hard for people to wait, and that's another thing. It's very hard for people to wait. A lot of the people in this generation, and I fall victim to it as well, I'm not gonna lie to you, we want money fast, right? We want money fast. We want the fast cars. We want the nice houses. Yes, all of these is cool, but if you get the money fast, it's not going to last. The problem is we want it so fast because we don't have patience. Another thing the wise man had and that Proverbs harped on was patience. The ability to be okay with sitting down and chilling for a while. The ability to be okay with being patient and waiting for what God tells you to do. The ability to be patient knowing that you worked, that you did what you did, and now it's up to God, right? For this YouTube channel, my job is to go on my computer, click start recording, speak to the camera, post my video. That's my job. My job is to post the video, post on TikTok, post on Instagram. That's my job. Once I do all the outreach it's up to God. My job is to post everything that I can do on my side. That's my job. So this video isn't gonna be long. It may be 9 minutes, damn. But it's just like you have to learn yourself before you try to take over the world. I believe you can, I believe you will, but you have to learn yourself, because if you don't learn yourself, you're gonna want to do everything everybody else is doing. And the reason you're on this video is because you're different than everybody else. So act like you're different. Learn yourself, learn what makes you different, and use those unique traits God gave you to the fullest of your ability, because he didn't give it to you for no reason. I love you, God love you, and I'm gonna talk to y'all boys later.